ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be talking about the Super 7 Universal Monsters Ultimates Metaluna Mutant from this island Earth. Right out of the box, the Metaluna Mutant Ultimate figure will be standing at just over 7 inches tall, which is just fantastic. Speaking of that box, look at this thing. Love, love, love the artwork on the slipcase and on the box overall. I actually really like that the slipcase does something like this. This is pretty cool. Speaking of that box once more, the Metaluna Mutant will come with an alternate bloody head and an extra set of hands. All of this can be yours for $55. And I know that might seem a little lackluster to some, especially if you've bought into the Super 7 Power Rangers Ultimates, but when it comes to the Metaluna Mutant, I don't believe they actually showed up in the movie until much later, and even then, what we get here is mostly all we need. And hey, if you're interested in checking out this Island Earth, it's right here on YouTube, link in the comment section down below, as well as a nice little historic read-up on just why this movie is so influential and beloved, but also swept under the rug like nobody's business. Paint and detail-wise, I gotta give Super 7 a lot of credit here. This is a lovely looking mutant. Believe it or not, this here creature, this Metaluna Mutant, was actually touted as the most expensive movie monster ever created. I don't know if that applies to now, but at the time, apparently Universal said it cost about $20,000 just to make the costume, so there's that. And when looking back on 50s monsters, 60s monsters, the whole 9 yards, this guy was definitely doing something different. But anyway, paint and detail for the head. Holy Jesus, God in heaven. I love that we have some nice metallic gold for his mouth thing. He kind of looks like Cell, as well as the eyes and a wee bit on the forehead. I really like this dirty dry brushing they did for the wrinkles of his brain cranium. Gives it some extra depth. And also looks pretty dang cool. I very much enjoy it. And then you have the details for the veins that are covering the entirety of his head and around his eyes and everything. Moving into the upper torso over here, we have these very veiny, scrotal looking shoulder pads. And I do very much enjoy how they were painted up and such. There is some wear and tear going on over here. Not sure how that happened or when that happened, but clearly it was a mistake to some extent because the other one is much more clean. Really do love the spaghetti veinage detail going on here. It's like fleshy and such. And now we're moving into this general area over here, and we can see some glue just like over here and over here. That's one thing that seems to remain with Super 7. The quality control can be a little nyeh, but I really like the light paint application they used for his upper body over here. I think that looks really cool. It's just for whatever reason, the same color won't really be applied to the side of the torso. On either side, actually. In a weird way, it kind of matches what the arms are doing. Matches the overall differing hues that are going to be on the figure. Also, Metaluna Mutant back cheeks! He really do look like he got a butt on his back. God, I wouldn't want to be around this guy on Taco Tuesday. Definitely a bit of a weirder occurrence with these Ultimates figures. Now, when taking a look at the arms, I love that we're going to see different hues of this purplish blue that the character is going to be just, soaked in. And I really enjoy how this brownish burgundy with the veins and on all of the cuffs of the arms over here just kind of clash with the overall color. I especially enjoy how these claws kind of prelude over here on his, wrist area fades into the blue, or the blue fades into this. It's quite nice. Really like the detail for the claw too. And thankfully, all those loving little bits of paint and detail will be on the opposite arm as well. And all such things will be present on the other arm, on both sides, as well as both of these useless friggin' fixed clawed hands. Now, despite the obvious glue residue on the chestal area and over here by the Jimmy Neutron symbol, the rest of the lower half of the figure is going to have this almost stained look to it, which I really like. I mean, if you look at the top of the thighs over here, they go from like this somewhat bruised purple into this light, almost sky blue with that staining on there, and it really does look like, you know, just material. Used material, I should say. And yeah, we will have some minor little paint dribbles over here, but as we get into the feet, Wow. Really digging the detail on his two-toed foot over here. Loving that we're still going to be seeing some veinage going on as well. And that's essentially going to carry over into the legs of his pants over here and the rest of the foot. And as you can see over here, we have what looks like a stress mark. Well, it's not a stress mark, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Uh-oh, it's over here too. But the paint and detail on the feet look really, really nice. I like the fade of color that they used for the toes and the veins yet again. Honestly, I think this guy looks pretty damn awesome. But you know what would make him look awesomer? Oh yeah. We've got to rip off his head, and we need to lightly apply the damaged head. And the damaged head is essentially the same thing as the normal head, just obvious puddle of blood there. And I don't know, I feel it just ties this figure rather nicely together. And this isn't just a random inclusion. The mutant does get pretty banged up towards the end of the movie. He's actually a bit more bloodier in the movie, but this is just fine the way it is. I think I'm going to give paint overall a solid star. I'm going to give detail a solid star as well. Accessory-wise, I mean, I feel like we didn't even need these, you know? They're just the claws, but they're fixed. There isn't going to be any articulation to them. They look exactly the same with the same amount of paint and detail, so accessory inclusion, I'll give a solid star. I'm just glad we got an alternate head. With that being said, let's check out articulation. At the head, we can look up about that far and then back down about that far. Little tip for those of you who might end up buying this figure. When I apply the head, oops, yeah, that happens, but as you can see, the ball joint isn't fully in the socket for the head. When the head is fully applied, yeah, he's got a little bit less of a neck and you get a little bit less of movement there, so when you go to apply the head, just lightly apply it, give it a little bit of force, and there he'll have a little bit more of a neck and he'll be able to look up a lot farther down the whole 9 yards. And of course, he will be able to swivel from left to right. I'm pretty sure he can clear these shoulders, but I don't feel like it. Okay, yep, see, yeah, no. At the shoulders over here, the arms can move out, not too far. Decently enough, this is a bit of a softer material than the rest of the figure, but yeah, no whitey outsies for the arm. It can go decently far forward and decently far back. And of course, we'll get a bend at the first elbow, including a swivel. A bend at the forearm elbow, as you can see, plus a swivel. A swivel at the wrist. Claws can move out decently enough and back in. Nothing at the torso, it feels. In fact, this doesn't feel nice, so I'm going to stop doing that. Legs can kick up pretty decently far. It can move back pretty decently as well, although that's more so out and to the side than fully back. Metaluna split! We will get a swivel at the thigh over here, a decent bend at the knee, a hinge at the ankle so we can point down and back up, and we'll even get a nice little pivot at the ankle as well. Oh yes, also swivel. Now, this is the ankle that I was alluding to that looked like it had stress marks on it. No! This ankle was actually glued solid. I had to heat this up and pray I didn't snap anything. Thankfully, glue wasn't an issue anywhere else, but just the fact that there was glue here and there's glue residue over here and on his belt area over here, I'm gonna have to give quality control just like a sub rating of a half a star. I feel like the whole glue issue really could have been avoided, and I really don't know why this was friggin' glued at all, but it was. It certainly was. Articulation-wise, I think I'd give this thing a solid star. Yeah. You're not going to get crazy amounts of posability out of this guy, but I think you get just enough to get him into some creepy lurching forward poses or attack ready poses, which in and of itself is more than what we saw in the movie. Again, nothing but love and appreciation to the suit actor that went through the hell that was the filming and recording sessions for this movie, because, oh god, that sounds not very fun at all and rather stressful. There is a scene in this movie where the Metaluna Mutant is defeated and it falls face first. You can actually see sweat erupting from the eye area of the mask. It's actually substantial enough to see pooling around the head of the mutant. And again, nothing but respect to the suit actor. Nothing but love and respect to him. So now we can get into size comparisons. Patriot Studios, daughters A and B, Cassandra and Daniela Domitresk, Lady Domitresk and Optimus Prime, Super7 Toho Ultimates Godzilla 89, Bandai Shokugan Shin Godzilla, Movie Monster Series Shin Godzilla, Monster King Series Shin Godzilla, Imperial Goji. Not a bad release. I actually really enjoy this guy. So much so that I really want to get that glow-in-the-dark variant. But I have priorities in check and I need to start saving. Yes. I've always wanted a Metaluna Mutant figure. I've always wanted a reason to talk about this island Earth on this channel, and finally, I have it. Now, hopefully Universal can deliver a 4K transfer of that movie because, oh wow, I can't wait. And seriously, check the movie out if you have an hour and 11 minutes. It's worth sitting through at least once. I mean, H.R. Giger claims this is one of his main inspirations for that of the Alien for Alien. In fact, a lot of filmmakers and artists of all kinds have cited this island Earth as the reason why they began creating. And if they ever get around to remaking this movie, I bet the mutant will probably be a lot more present than he is in the original. But anyway, I have been ShinRobjira, and when next we meet, it is Necathon 12 time with a double review of the NECA Mothras. See you then, see you there, have a lovely day, afternoon, and night. Peace.